Hey beauties, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel, aka Endo Wife, and today I'm going to talk about endometriosis, and I'm also going to be talking about my journey. So stay tuned. So we're going to jump right in and talk about what endometriosis actually is. So I've written a few things down to help you understand. According to the charity Endometriosis UK, endometriosis is the name given to the condition where cells similar to the ones in the lining of the womb are found elsewhere in the body. So this could be somewhere like the bowels, the ovaries, the bladder. It could be anywhere. So each month, these cells react in the same way to those in the womb, building up and then breaking down and bleeding. So just like a period, that's basically what happens. So if you have endometriosis on your bowels, for example, those cells will shed like a period. So they will cause bleeding like a period. And because there's nowhere for the blood to go, it can cause scar tissue and it can cause adhesions. So adhesions are things that stick down to either your abdominal wall, your bowels, or surrounding tissues. So endometriosis, it is a chronic and often debilitating condition that can cause painful or heavy periods. It may also lead to infertility, fatigue, and bowel and bladder problems. Around 1.5 million women in the UK are currently living with the condition. So that's 1.5 million women living with endometriosis right now that have been diagnosed, okay? There's women that haven't been diagnosed who are not included in this number. Endometriosis UK also say that endometriosis can affect all women and girls of childbearing age. So that's all women who have started their periods, regardless of age, regardless of race or ethnicity. The impact can also be felt for life, okay? This is not a temporary thing. This is a lifelong condition. This is a chronic condition. 1 in 10 women will suffer with endometriosis. So if you meet 10 women, one of those women are going to have endometriosis. So it is very common. And this is just what we know right now. There is no known cure. There are treatments to help to keep the endometriosis under control, but there is no cure. It's there for life. You may have to take medication for life. It is a chronic condition, which means the effects are long term. It can take 7.5 years to be diagnosed. In my other research that I've done, I found that Black women are 50% less likely to be diagnosed with endometriosis compared to white women, and Asians were amongst the highest of all ethnicities to be diagnosed. So as a Black woman, it took me 10 years to be diagnosed. On average, it takes 7.5 years. Okay? 10 years. I'm just trying to make sure you understand 10 years of pain. I was 11 years old when I started my periods, and they were so painful. Oh my gosh, I had to miss school every month. I ended up in A&E nearly every month, just on morphine, on drips, on any kind of medication to stop the pain. I would roll around bed and I would be crying and screaming and praying to God to just, take away this pain. Take away this pain that is killing me. It felt like I was gonna die. It was so, I can't explain the pain. And whenever I hear young women or women in general saying they have period pains, it just makes me feel so bad for them, because there's nothing I can do to help them, and there's nothing, oh no. So growing up in school, I missed a lot of school, especially in the years where in my secondary school years. So from year 7 all the way to year 11. Plus, I had pain. I suffered with horrible pain. My teachers would write to my mum or call my mum saying, you know, I've missed a lot of school and that I'm going to struggle to catch up. And consequently, I failed my exams at school. I only passed probably 3 GCSEs. So I had to go back to college and the same thing. But I managed to pass my exams because I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a nurse to help other women. So I knew what I had to do, and I knew I had to keep pushing and fighting. And somehow I managed to pass my exam. Managed to get into university somehow, only by the grace of God. But in university, I struggled again. I had enough. So I kept going back to the doctors over the 10 years. I kept going back to the doctors, and the doctors would prescribe any kind of hormone that they prescribed me. I had the pill, I had the injections, I had the implants, you name it, I had it. And I had to keep having scans, but they couldn't find anything. And they started to think, okay, maybe it's just all in her head. Maybe it's not that bad. So in university, I was getting pains again. There was one day where I was on my period and it was just so heavy. I've never experienced heavy periods like that before. I've experienced heavy periods, but that was heavy periods, you know? It was beyond heavy, and there was a lot of clotting, there was a lot of bleeding, and there was a lot of cramping, more cramping than I could imagine. So I went home to my mom, and because I was living in Birmingham at the time, I went back to live to my mom for her to look after me. And I just remembered feeling so sick, like I was gonna pass out. I felt like just unwell. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I was just unwell. My mum could see that I was unwell, but because of my experiences with doctors, I I was just like, no, it's okay. This is, you know, I'll be all right. And my mum was like, no, this isn't normal. And I was like, yeah, but they're just going to send me home. They're just going to give me morphine and they're going to send me home and say nothing's wrong. And at this point, I started to doubt myself. So I doubted myself that I was sick. I thought maybe I am imagining things. Maybe this is I'm being hysterical. Maybe I'm being an hysterical woman. So but my mum was adamant there was something more wrong with me. So she was like, we're going to the hospital. And I was like, oh no, mum, please don't. They're gonna like laugh at me. They're gonna make me feel inadequate. You know, they're gonna, oh, I just didn't want to go, but I knew I felt poorly. Because some of my experiences when I went into hospital, I had a male not a doctor, a male nurse come into my cubicle and say, you know, can you keep it down, please? Because there's other patients here and you're disturbing them. If I could keep it down, I would keep it down. You know what I mean? If I could keep the noise down, I would. I'm not screaming for no reason. I'm screaming because I'm in pain. And this was frustrating for me because it's like people didn't understand why I was in pain. It was like, oh, it's just a period. She'll grow out of it. She'll learn to deal with the pain. It's not as bad as she's making out. It's just a period. So anyway, fast forward, my mum took me into hospital, and they was asking me all these questions like they usually did. They gave me Oromorph, but there was this one really nice doctor, and he made me feel at ease, and he believed me. He believed there was something wrong, but he just didn't know what was wrong. So I had an ultrasound, and he says to me, we found a mass in your womb in your ovaries, on your ovaries. And he says to me, they think it's a cyst. So had um I had been admitted into hospital, and I had to stay for a few nights. I can't remember how long exactly it was. And I had a drip, I had antibiotics. I had to see a doctor who had to do an internal examination at the age of 21. It was a bit invasive. It was very invasive, and I was very shy. Never had a doctor do that to me. So this was my first time pre-diagnosis. So he said, there's a really big cyst, and it was, I can't remember how big it was, but it was a very big cyst. From that diagnosis of a cyst, that's when I ended up getting transferred to a gynecologist. And this was the best gynecologist I've ever been to. And I've been to them before as a youngster, but as an adult, he was the best. But there was people that he also worked with that I'd have to see as well, so I didn't always get to see him. From there, I had tests, but there was one lady who, didn't quite know what she was saying or know what she was doing. And they did the scans, they did the blood test, and they couldn't find anything. They found a little, what they called was a polyp, which it wasn't. It was a fibroid. It turns out it was a fibroid, but they found nothing really. There's there's a small polyp, but we don't think that's causing the problem. But continue with these pills, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I can't keep carrying on like this. This is too much for me, too much. So the doctors, they said, the gynecologist, sorry, they said, oh, we could do surgery, but we're probably not going to find anything. And I was like, yes, please, 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 can you do this surgery? I need to know what's going on. I need to know I'm not going crazy. Oh my gosh, I need to know something. I know there's something going on. So the doctors, they set a date for my operation, which was going to be a laparoscopy, which is keyhole surgery. So they just do the smallest amount of holes in your stomach, 3 holes, and they have a look around. Now, I wasn't scared about having surgery, nothing. I just wanted a diagnosis. I just knew I wasn't crazy, and I wanted them to find something, however crazy that sounds. I came around from the operation. They said to me, we looked around and we actually found that you have endometriosis, stage 2 to 3. Endometriosis goes up to stage 4. So I was early stages endometriosis. So I was like, oh, thank God, like they found something. They was like, oh, we've also found a fibroid. It's not a polyp, it's a fibroid. Your ovaries are stuck to your bowels, and this is what's causing the pain. So we managed to free a bit of endometriosis, but you have to come back for another operation. So I was just like, thank you, God, thank you, they found something. And I cried. I knew there was something wrong. So it was just like clarity and clarification that something there was wrong with me. However bad, whatever it was, I didn't care. I knew something was wrong with me. I knew I wasn't crazy. Fast forward to the next operation, and they managed to free my ovaries from my bowels, but I still suffered with painful periods, painful everything you could think of. Pain. It was just pain walking, pain talking, it was just pain constantly. So they put me on the injection, and then I had to go back every month for that. But the injection, it didn't work for me. Well, it didn't really work for me. It helped a little bit, but I started to notice my hair was thinning a little bit. So I wasn't really happy with that, but I didn't mind the hair thinning because if it meant that it took a bit of the pain away, then that was fine. So after my surgery, I was so happy. I wasn't happy, but I was happy to be diagnosed. I felt a sense of relief. I felt someone is listening to me now. They've got to listen to me. They've got it in black and white. They've got pictures of it. I have endometriosis. But what is endometriosis? I was so confused. I didn't even know what it was I had. But I knew I had to do some research and I had to learn for myself because the information I wasn't getting was not enough. It wasn't, I didn't understand it. It was all medical terms. So I had to do a lot of research and a lot of learning about my body. So here we are now, 2021, 11 operations down, and I'm still nowhere near feeling as good as I should be feeling. Some days I can't get out of bed. Some days, most days I can't get out of bed. I'm so tired all the time. And I learned that I'm tired all the time because my body is constantly fighting the endometriosis. So it's going to be tired. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm always anemic. I'm always just in pain, whether it's walking, I can't do physical activity. I can't even do the job that I love, that I work so hard to do. It took me 5 years to become a nurse because of all the endometriosis, all the surgery, and I managed to do it. And I was, so thankful and grateful to God. But after a year, I wasn't able to do it because of the pain from the endometriosis. So it's all I ever wanted to do, be a nurse, and the one thing that I wanted to do, I just could not do anymore. So it was heartbreaking. And then it was I had to then refine my purpose in life, refine what I need to do. And I'm still trying to find that out. I don't know what it is that I need to do in life or what I can physically do. And with endometriosis, it's a disease where on the outside you may look okay today, but you don't know the effort that it took for me to look this way. You don't know the effort it took for me to actually get out of bed, and that the mental preparation I had to do, the amount of tablets I had to take in order to make myself feel like every other woman. It's a lot of work. It's just ugh, and a lot of surgery. Now, 2019 December, I had my last operation. I After I woke up from my anesthetic, my doctor said to me, your ovaries are now stuck, like cemented onto your womb, cemented onto your abdominal wall. Um, so they wasn't able to do hardly anything because they didn't want to interfere with my fertility. The way that my ovaries, which is, the white things that you see in pictures, the white oval shapes, they are actually stuck on the abdominal wall, and the fallopian tubes, which collects the eggs from the ovaries, are stuck down as well. So the ovaries can't then grab the eggs that have been released from the ovaries because it's all stuck down to my abdominal wall. So because of that, it's going to be difficult for me to have children. But they didn't want to say that I couldn't have children, but it's going to be difficult and I would need fertility in one way or another. Fertility treatment, sorry, in one way or another. So this is where we're at right now, is trying to deal with pain, trying to deal with not being able to have treatment because, the hormones that they would give me, I wouldn't be able to have a baby or get pregnant. And the whole IVF thing, that is a conversation for another video. I just wanted to speak to you about my story, my pain, my fight, just my journey with endometriosis. It's not been easy. It's not it's not been something that I will ever forget. It's been very traumatic. And as I said, there's so many other women out there that have not been diagnosed and that are struggling. So I'm grateful that I've got that diagnosis. But it is sometimes more than I can bear. And sometimes I think, oh, you know, God, why me? Why give me this condition? Why give me this disease? You know, I try to live right. I try, you know, just all this stuff where you're trying to question God. But at the end of the day, I have endometriosis, and I can either dwell on it or I can do something positive and try and help other women. And that is what I'm trying to do. No matter how I may be feeling mentally, physically, emotionally, I know that my story can help someone else. And there's so much to endometriosis, I don't even know where to begin. But just follow me on my journey, and we can help each other, and we can give each other advice and support each other, because that is the main thing. That is what is important, is to just be a shoulder for someone else, listen to them, hear them, and help. Talk about it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Just talk to each other and empower each other. Don't shame each other. Not every person is the same. All people with endometriosis are not the same. They don't have the same symptoms. For me, I have endometriosis on my bowels and my bladder, my ovaries. Well, I don't know where there is an endometriosis, to be honest, in my reproductive system. But for me, I have completely different symptoms or symptoms to other people, and I have different treatments to other people. Not one person is the same. So this video is to help every young girl, every young woman, every woman. And I want to speak for the Black community. I want to be a voice. I want you to know that it's okay to talk about this. It's okay. Don't feel embarrassed. You are not alone. There are other women, but just some people just decide not to talk about it. Talking about it will get more recognition for the disease, which will in turn get more money for funding to help to find a cure, which will then help other women. So please talk about it, and I will continue to talk about it. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of these videos. Please share. I can't stress how important it is to share this video, just to help. Imagine just one person that we can help. One person is all I'm asking. Is I just want to help. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for just taking the time out to share this video to help other people. So my next video, I will let you know when that will be posted. But for now, take care.